What's up, everybody? It's your boy Baybar to Go Bar coming at you with another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. So here we are, the Dragon War, and this is going to be part 1 of a 5-part series. And I'm on the last round, and I've so far gone perfect, so I wanted to show you guys the decks, the Planeswalkers I chose, kind of how I've been approaching each node. And we'll start with the, I believe it's called Arcades Strategy node. That's the Bant white, blue, green node up top. So I chose H2 for the, Holtai 2 for this. And this objective requires you to summon 3 or more creatures during a single turn. And also cast 3 creatures with toughness 5 or more. And so the reason I chose H2 is because 2 things. One is dinos are very, very strong. And so all of my dinos, Zetalpa, Ghalta, and Zacama are, have plenty of toughness, 5 toughness. And then there's some other really strong cards in this deck. So what I've noticed is that Primeval's Glorious Rebirth does count as cast and seemingly summon. So even though that didn't typically you actually had to cast it out of your hand, now you can actually cast Rebirth. So if we can get, a Gather the Pack and a Itlimoc down and a creature on the board, we can actually go ahead and go right into Primeval's Glorious Rebirth and get sufficient creatures to meet the objective. There's a couple other interesting cards. The Great Aurora will help us. Hopefully, we'll see what this Elspeth I'm against his face is running. But I think mass support control is necessary in all nodes of this event. There's some big nasty supports out there right now. Of course, Starfield and Nyx lockdown is an issue. You still have Lich's Mastery running around in a lot of decks, and you gotta make sure that you can actually attack once you get down. So this is the deck. Vivien's Invocation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this card, but pick one of the first 3 creatures in your library, move it to the battlefield, then it deals X damage to your opponent's first creature, where X is its power. This is both an excellent way to cheat out a creature and actually take out another opposing creature. My closest near loss this event was against a Karn, and I managed to get a Vivien's Invocation down. I used that to leverage into a Zacama taking out his first creature. The Zacama created enough gems, using hits 9 gems to one of your Planeswalker's colors to throw out a Rebirth, and then Zetalpa and Ghalta came and joined the party, and it was a good game for me. I was 1 turn from lethal the other direction, but it worked out. So the other cards, I guess I'll click on the creatures real quick. Zetalpa does have this activate 3 prevent damage. He's a blocker, he's flying, he's got double strike, really strong creature. Ghalta is obviously Ghalta. It's really easy to cheat out, so if you can play like 2 other creatures, likely you can play this as a 3rd one for very, very cheap, which is makes him excellent for this. You have to cast X amount of creatures node. Let's see here. I'll show you you guys know what Primeval's Glorious Rebirth does. You have to have a legendary creature, which is important, but then return all legendary creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. Gather the Pack, grabs a creature or 2 depending on the amount of green gems, and destroys the next 4, which can be tutored up with Rebirth. Growing Rites does a similar thing, lets you fetch 1 and destroy the next 3. It also can flip and become a mana generator, but usually once we get 3 dinos on the board, it's game over really quickly. We don't really need the mana from this card as much, but it can be relevant in some decks or longer PvE matches. And then Nissa's Revelation can help us dig for the cards that we need and keep our life total up. And Thunderherd Migration is the best converter in the standard format right now, unfortunately. And then the Great Aurora just clears everything, so it's a good idea to fill this up while you're trying to figure out and get your combo pieces going. All right, so let's go into the deck and hope it works out well. I'll tell you, this is what it's all about for me, guys. It's like the game, it's like I love building, and some Pauper, I'm not a big Pauper fan. Building combos and shooting fun videos is awesome, but really it's the intensity of this last day, and if you win this, you get, I guess they nerfed the amount, but almost 300 jewels, and you get, big prizes. That's what's exciting about this game. So I wish they do more events, even if they're non-coalition events, do more like high prize pool, offerings and stuff like that. And the reality is me having good cards doesn't prevent you from having good cards. I hate that mindset. So really, I wish we all had better cards and we could you know, abuse them together. So this is not the greatest start, but Vivien's Invocation is a nice card to have as a starter. You know, having just one Rebirth would be better than two. These little, let me show you the overlays. I forgot that. For Arcady Strategy, the first ability is draw a card and give it 3 mana. That's pretty interesting. We will cast our first, you know, certainly. Third ability is really strong once you get your dinos down, but you know, this is kind of a win more strategy. And then the second ability, your creatures gain Flying and Vigilance until the beginning of next turn. That could be relevant, but usually not in this deck. So we'll be using the first, certainly, and probably the third this game. Usually we don't use our second. I'd really like to get a Great Aurora in hand because I am nervous. Oh, one other interesting thing is these Infinity Gems. Whenever you match them now, they turn to a random color, and that's to prevent, you know, like if you get, you know, 2 other supports lined up, you can in color, you can just crack them all. That was really annoying, so they changed that feature, and I'm glad they did. But it actually adds an element, because now, like if I slide that white one to the left, it's like, well, what effect is that going to have? You know, none in this case, but if that black gem up above was actually blue, then there's about a 1 out of 5 chance that you know, my white gem would turn into a blue gem and give me a second match. So you actually need to take that into account in this particular event. So anyway, pretty cool. I've actually had some pretty interesting luck with some of that. So I think that probably is the right move. Actually, I might let him have that, and I might take this other white. I think that he won't go for the green horizontal match that I'm going to leave him. I think he'll go for the white one, which will leave me the green one, which is kind of interesting. Plus there's a potential to combo into that loyalty gem. This might be a bad idea, because if he does take that green one, that's a lot of mana for him. Oh, a match 5. Alright, see, I told you that was the right match. And then we'll go ahead and do this, even though I left him a match 5. And he ignored it. Interesting. Now I have 2 match 5s in red. I'd like to get my first going. So it doesn't really do anything, as you see, until I have creatures down, but it will draw me a card, which is nice. And that's actually a good card, because now I'm right up onto Rebirth land. I can just Vivien's Invocation into Rebirth now, and I'll be swinging with sufficient amount of creatures, and I'll be hitting pretty hard pretty early. So I might hold that one for now. Let's just see what we draw here. I think I want... Okay, so which way do I want to take this? I guess I want the white gem to be on the left-hand side. I'm not sure why. Yeah, maybe I don't. Maybe I want it at the bottom, so we'll do it that direction. Alright. More dinos in hand. I don't really need another Zetalpa, so let's chunk him away. I think that the black will give me... landfall will give me 2 plus 8 on green, so this is enough. I hope I'm not wrong here. This has been working all events, so if this doesn't work, I'm going to scream, but and they better not have hot fixed it like halfway through. We'll go ahead and Zacama anyway. And even the Vivien's Invocations have been counting, and maybe I'll get enough anyway, but I don't want to have to rely on that. See, a lot of people are running the white avatar, and it's a really, really good card, but the deck that I'm running is exactly why I'm not using it. Well, also you can't get tutored up with Rebirth, but I'm not using this card in any deck, and really the reason is because what happens if I'm playing dinos too? Now you've got a 7/7 for 16 that did absolutely nothing, and you're staring down a whole hell of hurt. Alright, let's check, and yep, see, we got all of our ambush and hardened done, so now we're just looking to go ahead and try and end this as soon as possible. We're going to be aggressive at this point, because we want to be drawing into and killing him as soon as possible to avoid any kind of support lockdown type of thing. So let's go ahead and take one of these white matches. Leave as many green gems as possible. This will enable our third on the next turn, which will buff our creatures pretty strongly. And he's in a world of hurt right here. So I'm going to do these videos in 3 separate versions. I guess I dump both Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, or do I try and fill one up? I mean, I think it's lethal, isn't it? Because it's gonna give them all plus X, which is a huge amount. Zetalpa might be lethal himself almost. Am I fucking? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Wow. I didn't even touch anything. Oh my god. That is bullshit. Oh my god. I can't believe that just happened. Well, I guess that's the Great Equalizer. Way to go, D3 and Octagon. Alright, I'm really pissed now. Man, that sucks. Like, I have no idea what caused that crash. I didn't even touch my screen. It just shut down. Wow. They really should have a save feature. There's no reason they could, like, I mean, I get it. Like, I guess you could abuse that. Like, for instance, like, let's say that instead of on my turn, he just started cascading like a maniac and, like, you know, started emptying his hand, and I could, like, somehow shut down the board and then, like, go back to the beginning of my last, or the end of my last turn, or I don't know what they should, but they got to be able to fix that, man. That literally just cost me yeah, a ton of jewels. Damn, that really sucks. All right, I guess that's all for that one.